Hi, this is Wessel from onyourweather.com, and in this video we're discussing home weather stations, what they are and why you would need one. So what is a home weather station? Well, let's just look at weather stations in general. What is a weather station? A weather station is a meteorological device designed to measure different atmospheric conditions at a specific location. The measurements are used in weather forecasting as well as numerous other meteorological applications. Now, traditionally, your weather services use multiple weather stations which are placed and scattered throughout a region or throughout a country, from urban areas to the most remote mountaintops. They're literally scattered all over the place. All the data collected from these different weather stations or sensor arrays, whatever you want to call it, are then sent to a central location where these data are being processed and used for weather forecasting, monitoring weather conditions, projecting future climate changes, and they're also being integrated into forecasting models, which helps them to make better forecasts. Now, how does that differ from your more home-orientated or personal weather station? Well, they're not that much different. The only difference is your personal or home weather station is a more compact, simple device that doesn't need the meteorological expertise to operate them. So they're being used in homes, local businesses, even large supermarkets for people to get general weather information. Apart from that, they normally are quite simple devices. If you look back in history, if you look at your old normal thermometer-barometer combination that you used to see hanging against walls, that is a complete weather station. It contains two sensors. So your domestic or home or personal weather station normally consists of one or two devices communicating with each other, and they even have the capacity to communicate with each other and make simplistic weather forecasts. So the keyword here is making simplistic and short-term weather forecasts. Where your larger weather stations form part of an integrated system which can make forecasts up to 4, 5, even a week in advance. Your home weather station really isn't capable of forecasting temperature or weather in general more than 12 hours, maybe a little bit more in advance. I would say, from experience, actually not more than 6 hours. So what does a weather station do, specifically a home weather station? Well, they contain from one to several sensor arrays which records data which are then being displayed, and they're also being used to make simplistic forecasts. Now, what do they measure? Well, they measure a combination of several atmospheric conditions. Let's quickly go through the list of what they can measure. The first and most obvious one we all know is temperature. How hot it is, how cold it is. Second, atmospheric pressure. In other words, the weight of the air in your specific location. Third, humidity, the amount of moisture in the air. Then we go to wind speed, wind direction, your rainfall, light intensity, and your UV index. Now, temperature, atmospheric pressure, and humidity are the three variables I consider to be the most crucial variables necessary for a weather station to at least be able to make a fairly accurate forecast. Like I said, home or personal weather stations come in a variety of forms. Your traditional thermometer-barometer combination you would see hanging against the wall, especially in old movies, that's a personal weather station. But most modern-day weather stations are digital devices you might have already seen. So let's just quickly have a look at a typical modern-day home weather station and what it measures and what the display looks like. Okay, so here we have a typical home weather display. This is my ambient weather system. It consists of two units. The unit you're seeing right now, which is the indoor display, and an outside array, sensor array, which we'll have a look at just now. So typically you can measure, okay, this one, you get to adjust your settings according to your country, whether it's in your country uses the metric system or the imperial system. This one's calibrated for the metric system, so if you've got you in the United States, you still use the imperial system, you can adjust it accordingly. Typically you'll get your temperature readings indoor as well as your humidity readings. Those are standard. They basically come with the vast majority of even your budget weather stations. Then if your outdoor sensor array is active, you get your outdoor temperature as well as your humidity. It also measures your light conditions, your UV index, and very important is your barometric pressure. Very important that your temperature, humidity, barometric pressure, those three variables, like I mentioned earlier on, is one of the most important variables on a weather station. Then you also get your wind speed and direction. Here you've got an indication of your actual wind speed as well as the direction. So this is a fairly advanced weather station, but you get more simplistic devices. But in general, this is what you'll find when you look at your indoor weather stations and sensor array that you'll find in most personal weather stations. And your more advanced outdoor weather sensors, like the one you're looking at right now, measures everything from temperature, humidity, barometric pressure to wind speed, wind direction, light, and even UV index. And this is a home or personal weather station in a nutshell. As you can clearly see, they do have their advantages, and that's why they are getting so increasingly popular and being found in an increasing number of homes. Obviously, they'll never be able, due to their physical limitations, they'll never be able to replace your regional and national weather forecasting or weather services, because simply due to their placement in your backyard, on your roof, those are the only atmospheric conditions, or the only place where your atmospheric conditions will be able to be measured. They can't see further than that. So there you still need the resources, or the vast resources, of your national and regional weather services, who are not just able to tap into weather stations, hundreds and thousands of them located throughout the world, but they can also tap into data from weather satellites, weather balloons, buoys in the sea, as well as numerous other and historical data as well. So a home or personal weather station will never replace that, and it's not supposed to replace them. What it does do, however, it gives you that advantage of having a closer or a more accurate idea of what the weather in your specific location is going to do. So for me, it's become an indispensable part of my daily life, not just because I'm a weather fanatic, but it's just so much easier to know what your local weather conditions are going to do, and it quickly adjusts to changes in your atmospheric conditions locally. So that's weather stations in a nutshell, especially specifically home and domestic weather stations. I hope you enjoyed this. As usual, I've put a link in the description below this video to the actual article describing everything I've mentioned in this video in full detail, and provides a lot of additional detail. So if you found this video interesting but you want some more information, or something's a bit unclear to you, you can always go and click on the link below the description in this video and read the full article on your own time. If you like this kind of video, give me a thumbs up, helps me a lot. If you like to see some additional videos that where I describe other weather events, weather phenomena, how they occur, what the characteristics are, remember to hit the subscribe button as well as the little notification button next to it, and you'll be reminded as soon as another video gets released. And until next time, keep your eye on the weather. Cheers.